Kwame Nkrumah is the president of Ghana. What do you take away from him as a quality leader that we must take home? I'm looking at how do you assess his own leadership, known as one who is agitated to become a leader of a country or a leader of a continent. Now, he really has the mantle of leadership as the president of Ghana. What is his own leadership quality that we can take home?
All right, Obehi, thank you. So, having appreciated from whence Nkrumah's experiences began, traveling abroad, being a young African student facing racism, facing hardship, experiencing difficulties as a young man who was trying to achieve his personal dream and finding out that, look, Africa's problem cannot be solved individually. It has to be a collection of Africans. And that's why Nkrumah fronted the idea of Africa unity. And that is why there's a speech he gives, and then there's a heavy punchline which says that the independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of all other African states. It's just a simple theme of brotherhood that, Obehi, my success has to be linked to your success for Africa's independence to be possible, right? That is all the idea Nkrumah was preaching. But as a leader, then it tells you that there has to be some kind of personality in the person that fuels that desire. The idea or the trait of unity, wanting to unite, wanting to see your fellow brother successful. If not, Nkrumah wouldn't have dished out a huge sum of money to Guinea when the French decided to pack all their things from Guinea because Guinea had decided not to join the French group, right? But because Nkrumah wanted to see his fellow other African country succeed, he dished out that huge sum of money for them. And it tells you that there's a personality of oneness, love that the person has for the fellow African. So it is important. And sometimes we may think that it is so trivial, but it's important. If you don't love your fellow brother, you don't love your country, then you will not want to see it do good. Nkrumah had that kind of love. His dream was that we all should do good. I should not be the only one doing good, or I should not be the only one successful. We all should be successful. And it is one thing that I take from him, that in whatever I do, even as a young man, in my small capacity, I shouldn't look out for my own success, my own joy, my own achievement, my own happiness, but I should also look out for the happiness of other people. Perhaps it is the lesson in the golden rule that we need to look out for each other, to be each brother's keeper. And that is one trait that Nkrumah really had. It is for that reason that he didn't amass any wealth for himself. Today, if you should ask, where is Nkrumah's property? Where is Nkrumah's house? Or even go to Google and try to check Nkrumah's net profit, you won't find anything like that. Because he felt that as a human being, I have to serve other people and I have to work for the interest of other people. And it's a very important trait of leadership. If you don't have a leader who cares, who is willing to sacrifice to achieve the lot for many people, but not for himself and his cronies, then it means that that leadership or that leader is not a good leader. And it is one thing that especially our contemporary Africans need to look at. They need to look at how to love the citizen, how to love the country, how to work for the interest of the lot, not just for themselves. And I bet you, if we have leaders who start to care, who start to really care, and not to isolate themselves from the people, because before they become leaders, they are not living in the Flagstaff houses and the Jubilee houses and the presidential palaces. They were living amongst the people. But immediately they are voted into power, they alienate and isolate themselves from the people, and therefore they do not appreciate the difficulty and the hardship of the people because they are not living with them. But Nkrumah gets go, even when he had become a prime minister and a president, he was still living with the people. He was still,
It's okay.
he was still living with them. So that is the trait I think that our African leaders need to learn from Nkrumah. The love for the people, the care for the nation.
In fact, you jumped into the question I wanted to ask you, which was the one I was following that, in that you see, this series of leadership podcast, it is created so that we can learn from our leaders, because we really have good leaders. It's true that if you see some of other podcasts that we have done, we are very harsh on the current crop of leaders that we have, in that they do not represent the people enough. We say this a number of times, no? In that we want leaders that are representing the people. We want leaders that want to stand with the people. We want leaders who want to suffer with the people. We want leaders who want to represent the people. Not those that are living in tinted houses, like you correctly said, no? Who are far away from the people, because Africans need leaders. They don't need people who are abusing them, who are holding the resources of the land and telling them rubbish. You see, so basically we have a fine line that defines what we are talking about here. It's called a people-oriented leadership, a leadership that is based on the interest of the people. Of course, this should not be very complicated to understand. If you are leading the people, if your interest is really the interest of the people, this should be reflected in what you do. It's not difficult to be understood, no? Take, for example, currently, a lot of leaders all over the world are concerned about their citizens because there is economic downturn everywhere. There is hardship everywhere. So what do you do as a leader? You need to look for a way to put your people to work. But what do you see across Africa? Our land are still there, fertile. Nobody is in need. Our leaders are not doing. I'm not saying that we should hope that it should work. Leadership is not about hoping. You need to be deliberate, like really be deliberate on what you want. If we say, for example, in Ghana, there is not enough food to feed the population, we don't need to pray that food should come. We need to have a deliberate effort of saying, okay, we are putting 10,000 people to work. 10,000 people to work. What is the strategy? It must be, these are scientific things. These are things that are very practical. They are pragmatics. This is how to find leadership that is based on the interests of the people, because we want the people to have food to eat. If we say, for example, that in Nigeria there is no electricity, because this is what Nigerian people have been complaining for years and years and years. A leader who said that I'm here to represent the interests of the Nigerian people should come with a solution. Not be thinking that, okay, maybe. We don't need maybe. We don't need maybe. You must have the solution or clear the way for somebody who have the solution. Because leadership is about providing a solution to the people. You should represent the interests of the people. Not buy generator to power your house and leaving the population there or to live in the dark. You didn't say that when you were campaigning. You didn't say you were going to live in the mansion, in Aso Rock, in affluence, leaving the population alone. You say you were going to provide a solution to their problem. That is why they voted you. So live up to the expectation. This is what we mean by leadership that is based on the interests of the people.